The views on a Breath of Fresh Air podcast reflects the parties involved, and we encourage you all to use it as a conversational tool that will lead to personal studies of your own.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Welcome to a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. As a young person, Christianity can be so foggy, like smoke in the mirrors and so unclear. But we're here to bring you a breath of fresh air.
Why did you not go with me, Mephibosheth?
My lord, O king, my servant deceived me. But your servant said, I will saddle a donkey for myself, that I may ride on it to go to the king, because your servant is lame. And he has slandered my name to you, my king. But my king is like an angel of God. Therefore, do what is good in your eyes. For all my father's house were dead men, yet you set your servant among those who eat at your own table. Therefore, what right have I still to cry out any more to the king?
Mephibosheth, why do you keep talking to me about your matters? I have already said that you and Ziba need to divide that land amongst each other.
Let him take it all. My king, I am very glad that you're back. Look at me. My mustache hasn't been trimmed. My clothes haven't washed. I haven't even cared for my feet from the day you departed as king. And now that you are back, I am overjoyed.
Absalom is dead. Both Isreal and David now have some choices to make. Will Isreal take him back as their king? Can David win back the hearts of the people? How will he treat those who sided against him? This week we explore all these questions as we discuss 2 Samuel chapter 19. As always, be blessed and enjoy. All right, welcome back to another episode of a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your host, Earl Roberts.
You pump fake me every time. As you all can see, we do not rehearse this beforehand.
No, not at all.
We just go.
Not at all.
But yeah, and Nakhaz Gay. I don't know if I cut him off, if you all was able to hear his voice.
But yeah, so welcome back, everyone. It's kind of crazy because we haven't recorded in about 3-ish weeks now. Yep. But you guys know as the audience, but it just feels different. It feels good to actually be recording again. So yeah, man. So how have you been? How have you been, Nakhaz?
I've been through a lot. You know, I had COVID.
Oh, that's the next thing. Yeah,
last week. Yeah, last week I had COVID. They told me that COVID was done away with. You know, but I had to tell you all that it is alive and well. You know, I was out of commission for about a week. You know, by the grace of God, I'm back though. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I didn't really have crazy symptoms or anything like that. I just was super weak, you know, but I'm glad to have my strength back.
That's how I was when I had COVID too, but I was just tired.
Yeah.
I was just tired, but God is good, back and healthy. So in the last episode we recorded, Absalom died. That episode was titled Hair Problems. For you lovely people that episode just came out last week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed.
Yep.
So Absalom has died. We know that Joab took it upon himself to do what's best for David and what's best for Israel, and unalived Absalom.
Yes.
Killed him.
I don't really get that though, because like you could see Joab was really fed up with Absalom, but you know, your commander, the king, specifically told you,
yes,
and 2 other generals,
yes,
to deal gently with Absalom.
As we read on, see, Joab has a very interesting story arc for the rest of 2 Samuel.
Yeah.
But Joab does what's right for the nation.
Yes.
But not necessarily what's right.
Right.
He goes about it in a very unconventional way. Joab is the character in the movie where, you know, like, it's like you like him, but you don't like him.
Like you just don't know where to place this guy, but you know he on your side. Like he has a good quote unquote story arc, but you're like, I don't really like how you do things.
Yeah, I don't like how you do stuff, but I know your heart is in the right place. Like, so like it leaves me in this weird position now. So it is what it is, man. Rest in peace, Absalom. I mean, I'm sure that's how David felt for sure. As you can see,
we saw how David felt, and now chapter 19 picks up right where chapter 18 is left off. So in chapter 19, verse 1, and Joab was told, "Behold, the king is weeping and mourning for Absalom." So the victory that day was turned into mourning for all the people. For all the people heard it said that day that the king grieved for his son. And people were stole back into the city that day, as people who are ashamed steal away when they flee in battle. But the king covered his face, and the king cried out in a loud voice, "O my son Absalom, O Absalom, my son, my son." So we see it's an interesting place for the children of Israel right now, because think about it. You just went to battle.
Yep.
To defend the nation.
Yep.
To defend the nation, and it was a great battle, and you guys won. So you're expecting to come back and be greeted like a soldier, soldiers welcome, be congratulated by the king. But you come back and your commander-in-chief is in tears because you won.
Yes.
And so you see the soldiers came back and they didn't know how to feel. They were like, okay, I guess we'll just go back now. Were we supposed to like go out and fight? Like, we saved you, we saved your kingdom, but now we feel bad about it. Like, we're ashamed. We're having to like steal away. It's almost like you have to like hide your face. You go back like you tuck your tail between your legs, as we say. Like, it's just a weird predicament for these soldiers to be in.
Yeah, because these soldiers, they're not like us, the readers. We get the backstory. We get to know how David was feeling the whole time for the war, right? All the soldiers know is my king is on the run from his son, right? And so in a way, it's like, all right, this ain't that big of a deal because it is the king's son. We all Israelites. It's like a civil matter. But the problem with that is, although this isn't a real battle, people are going to die for real. Like Absalom, when they fighting against y'all, they want to kill you all. Like, this ain't no joke. Like, they not looking at you all saying, oh, these my brothers, these people of my nation. You know, they treating you all as if you all are real enemies. Right? And so that's how the soldiers have to approach it too. It's either kill or be killed. We are at war. We know the goal. We know the objective. And so they completed the mission that they set out to complete, which is to be victorious and get David back in Israel. But as they return,
the king's sulking.
The king is sulking, bro. The king is mourning. The king is audibly upset. Oh, my son Absalom, my son Absalom. That's what you all come to hear. So now y'all sitting there like, Absalom tried to kill me, bro. I was literally on the battle. He swung his sword and missed. Thank God I'm alive. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And you crying for him. And I get that's your son, but this the person you just sent us out to fight against.
Exactly.
So this our enemy at the same time. And so it is weird, bro. It's just a weird spot to be in.
And so now we see in verse 5, who comes back on the scene? Joab. Because remember, all this was being related to Joab, that David was crying. So then Joab came into the house of the king and said, "Today you have disgraced all of your servants who have saved your life, the lives of your sons and daughters, and the lives of your wives, and the lives of your concubines, in that you love your enemies and hate your friends. For you have declared today that you regard neither princes nor servants. For today I perceive that if Absalom had lived, and all of us had died today, it would have pleased you well." And that's some hard pills to swallow right now. We see Joab was like, bro, I had enough of this.
Especially if it's true, though.
And we know it's true.
Right.
What's up?
No, you good.
Do you see, like, David couldn't even, like, put up a fight up against it. It was like Joab had to come there and check.
Yes.
David, like, bro, hold on. What you doing right now ain't right. Because the perception of it, bro, you are our leader. The perception of it is what's not right. Because we did a good thing. We understand that you are being so sorrowful and remorseful right now, but right now you're making this about you. And it's borderline selfish what you're doing right now, David, because your troops just won a great battle. yes, your son had to pay the consequences, but look at everything your son did. And right now, your troops need you as king to be king.
Right. It ain't your troops' fault that your son happened to be the enemy that they had to fight against.
Exactly. And now we need you to kind of unite this whole nation. So you around here sulking, crying about Absalom, your son. You making it seem that, bro, if all of us had died, think about it, bro. Like, let me say, if all of us had died and Absalom was safe, you would have been happier than us winning this war for you right now. And that's just like mind blowing.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, like, if it's true, that's crazy because that's how Joab perceived it. Joab saying, bro, I believe you would have rather us die, right? And in a way, I actually do agree with Joab, though. I do believe that David went into this battle saying, like, he didn't verbally say this, but he went into this battle thinking that the most important person is Absalom. His life is more important than anybody else's here. And I'm sure people did die on David's side. Mm-hmm. And of course, David ain't mourning to that degree. You understand what I'm saying? And so, yeah, like the optics of it, what does this do for our country? Right now, you was just on the run. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now it's time for us to celebrate our victory, to be reunited. You need your son. You miss your son. But Joab is saying, when you think about the macro level, the nation needs their king and the soldiers need their leader. You understand? And so you crying, that's one man versus thousands of men and women of Israel that need you as well. So what you gonna do?
Exactly. And then the same point too is like, bro, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
You're doing too much now. You've been crying for your son this whole time. You're doing too much. We win now, bro. It's sad to say your son is dead and gone.
Yeah, and this ain't even a tragic death, because your son knew that he was going, bro, like you go to war with somebody, you know what the consequences are. Mm-hmm. You know there's a possibility that you're going to die, especially when your son is trying to kill me.
Usurp the whole kingdom. Your son was going to kill you.
Right.
That's from like, I mean, I get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, your son was trying to kill you, bro. Like, maybe because David has lost so much and he in a weird place right now as king.
Yeah.
So now in verse 7, now therefore arise, go out and speak, comfort your servants, for I swear by the Lord, if you do not go out, no one will stay with you this night, and it will be worse for you than all the evil that has befallen you from your youth until now. Then the king arose and sat in the gate, and they told all the people, saying, the king is sitting in the gate. So all the people came before the king, for everyone in Israel had fled to his tent. And that's just something I just want to point out too. You see Joab saying, bro, I understand your son is dead, but you right here thinking you're doing the right thing more than your son, you will have more detriment if you lose the army that's backing you than if you stay right here in sorrow. Like, you need to go there and be a man up, and go there and lead your troops. Actually let them know that you're actually happy they won the battle. Because you don't want to lose these men. You have these men, you see everyone went to their tent. There was no celebration. There was no dancing in the streets as if we beat the Philistines or nothing. And you're just about to lose your kingdom to your son who desecrated everything you had. Like, you got to go out there and handle your business.
Yeah. Very, very much needed speech. Motivational speech from Joab.
I would say Joab is get David together.
Yeah.
He's get David together.
Yeah, and then, it just go to show, like, when you have a kingdom, the king, no matter how good the king is, bro, you need a support system. Like, you need a team.
You need people to hold you accountable.
Right.
And who have your back? Like, Joab, again, he have his ways, but he, like, has David's best interest at heart and saying, bro, hey, I understand this. You were on your sulking about Absalom. You know, banish him the first time. Bring him back. Now you crying that the man dead. No, we don't need this right now. You could go sulk in public. I ain't tell it private. I ain't tell you don't mourn the loss of your son. But, keep it to control. You got to move on with life.
Right, yeah. You're going to hurt. See, but then think about it too, though. A lot of people was just on Absalom's side, right? Like, I'm talking about Israelites. So when Absalom was campaigning, if I was king, I was king, a lot of people was feeling him. So in the court of public opinion, David ain't the crowd favorite for real. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, and we did see that though. Like, for instance, Shimei, I think his name, and we can get back to him. He was one of the people who was like, yeah, David about to lose his seat. Oh, I can't wait. And I can make that known. So it's a lot of people who they might have mixed feelings for David. They might have a bad taste in their mouth for David. You know what I mean? And so now that you got your throne back now, instead of you flapping your wings, or instead of you saying to God be the glory, or instead of you just celebrating this in any fashion, you around here crying over the enemy. Right? Dude, that ain't helping. That ain't helping.
That ain't helping no one.
That ain't helping the crowd perception of you, because people might be feeling the same way. Oh, why Absalom had to die and now we stuck with David? You feel me? And so you making a bad case for yourself, you know. And Joab saying that, bro. You see how this look? Bro, this look like you didn't want us to win, bro. You would have rather him win, you know what I mean? Or you rather him stay alive, bro. But nah, bro. Like, you was the king. Y'all just win. Act like it. Plain and simple.
So now in verse 9, now all the people were in dispute throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, the king saved us from the hand of our enemies. He delivered us from the hand of the Philistines. And now he has fled from the land because of Absalom. But Absalom, who we anointed over us, has died in battle. Now therefore, why do you say nothing about bringing back the king? So we see there was essentially there was some inner turmoil in the different tribes of Israel now. They're saying like, hold on, okay. So we chose Absalom. David did all these good things for us. Absalom dead because he tried to usurp David. So essentially what we could do, like, why we ain't bring David back yet?
Yeah.
And so the king sent to Zadok and Abiathar, the priests, saying, speak to the elders of Judah, saying, why are you the last to bring the king back to his house, since the words of Israel have come to the king to his very house? You are my brethren, and you are bone and my flesh. Why then are you the last to bring back the king? And say to Amasa, who for all context was Absalom's army chief, are you not are you not my bone and my flesh? God do so to me, and more also, if you are not the commander of the army before me, continually in place of Joab. So think about it now. So what David just do? It's like two things in one fatal swoop. Simultaneously punish Joab by taking the army away from him, and then kind of made a peace treaty with Amasa, saying, hey, Absalom's dead. You're commander of his army. I'll make you commander over the united army of Israel, and that could be your post as a peace offering. I ain't gonna kill you. I ain't gonna harm you. Let's just call a truce, essentially. I won. Well, my man won. I'll make you rule of the army. You come serve me now. Pledge your allegiance. And by extension, your Absalom's army will be my army again.
Yeah, I just think, I don't know. I don't even understand David rationale behind that. You know?
Just trying to keep the peace, man.
You're just trying to keep the peace, but you demote Joab.
Because Joab killed his son. that's literally what it is.
But you give the enemy, who was just the enemy 2 seconds ago, the highest rank in your army.
But Joab and Abishai is still there.
Yeah, yes, but they get demoted though.
They get demoted, but it's like, again, I ain't J. David. But this I wouldn't do it. I'd have killed them. That sounds so wrong. I didn't consult God on that.
He was operating in the flash on that one, right? But my thing is,
David's a better man than me.
True, but you don't think there's a thing of overextending yourself or like trying to overcompensate, basically.
See, David's a man who's just been through a lot.
But this is what I'm saying, bro. You all right, we read Exodus, right? You remember people was commanders over tens and thousands and hundreds of thousands, right? Why you making them command over all right then and there, just like that, bro? Like, you know, it's levels, bro. Like,
I guess I get what you said. I wouldn't have done it.
I know what you would have done. That's very clear what you would have done.
They are traitors.
Yeah, true.
How does one deal with traitors?
That's true, bro. That's true.
I'm just saying, bro. Like y'all just was after me. Again, David was in a humble place right now. I guess like everybody had been through losing all of his sons. Then he got one more left to lose, and I guess Solomon's a baby at this point, so he still got Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
All the embarrassment and shame that you just went through, and right now you're still at a point where you still in exile, but you king again, but you still, as we can read, as we're trying to get to understand them, you still ain't king over all of Israel yet again.
True.
Like, so, again, I still think it's him saying, you know what? This going back to the humble David that we read, like, was reading about in the beginning. I'm trusting God. I putting my pride and my ego aside. I ain't doing what Earl would have done. That'll make things worse.
Yeah.
But I put my pride and ego aside, and I say, you know what? This battle ain't mine to win. I don't gotta prove nothing. I know God has delivered me through this. And now if God wants me to be the king of all Israel again, I'm gonna just extend the olive branch and let bygones be bygones. Because God has delivered this back to me. Because we see, remember, even when he left Israel now, remember when he said back to the ark, if God wants me to come back here, he'll bring me back here. I don't need the ark behind me. It's more important the ark stay in Jerusalem where it belongs. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is like him being humbled again.
Yeah.
Trying to turn back to God and just rely on God for everything. Because we're going to see now too, like even this. Like, he won. Rightfully so. He has every right to just march back into Jerusalem, Judah, all these different nations, say, I am king again. But you realize he ain't doing that.
Nope.
It's almost like when he first started. I need each of y'all to, out of your own love and service, pretty much declare your allegiance to me again as king.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't coming to force. I ain't coming to use no violence, no authority. Like it's again a free will. Do you guys want me back as your king? And I mean, we talk a lot about David being like a type, but is reminiscent of how Christ wants us to love him.
Mm-hmm.
There's no force. We could be automatons. We could have, not to get like too like worldly right now, whatever. But we could have the Ultron snap. It wasn't Ultron, it was Thanos. The Thanos snap, and we all could be like, ultimate servants to God if God really wanted that. But God's like, no, I want y'all to, one, you have the choice to accept me, to love me, to follow me. That is your choice. Now, do you want to accept it, or do you want to like not? I guess that's the only two options. Like really and truly, either you accept or you don't accept. But like that's what David doing now to the children of Israel. You have a choice. Do you want to accept me as king again, or do you not? But unlike David, Christ, perfect. I mean, he ain't never run away and hide. But
yeah.
So that's part of the beauty right now. Like David just in a humbled place. Like, yo, I done been through a lot. This is y'all gift now. Like,
yeah, I agree, because fun and jokes aside, the reward of a traitor is death. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is, and that's why Ahithophel ended his life. Same thing with, and this was something we was talking about off mic, the type. Mm-hmm. David is a type of Jesus, right? Everybody knows that. But who was Ahithophel? Who would that make Ahithophel?
He's a Judas.
He's a Judas. He's the type of Judas, bro. And I know we laughing, but let's consider the similarities, right? Ahithophel, who was one of the men that counseled David. He was in David's inner court. You understand what I'm saying? He was very closely in line with David. He was a part of David's, what's the word? I don't know. I want to use like political party or whatever, but obviously it's a monarchy. But he's a part of
the court.
The court, right?
That's what they used to say back then, the court.
Right. So that person decides to side with the enemy in the same way Judas was one of the 12, part of Jesus' court, decided to side to the enemy with the enemy. It didn't go as planned, and both of them took the same action. You understand what I'm saying? They ended their lives because now you are a traitor, and it is better, like what Jesus says, it's better for that one that don't be even born. You know what I'm saying? Than to betray the son of God. And Ahithophel understood that too. Now, his name is Amasa, right?
Amasa.
He's interesting because obviously he didn't kill himself. You understand what I'm saying? But they just starting off like, man, I know we ain't gonna make David king over us. We made our decision. You know what I'm saying? And like you say, David responded to that with a promotion.
But I like what you just say too, because it's an interesting point that I didn't even really consider, because naturally it's kind of how Satan puts us in our own disadvantage too, bro. I already know I sinned. I already know what I deserve. You know what I'm saying? Like, we deserve death.
Fuck.
There should be no retribution or anything for me. Like, I know what I deserve. But God in his loving grace and mercy, saying, yeah, but I know what you deserve, but I'll give you this instead. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'll take away your punishment. You don't have to worry about your punishment. I'm going to give you a reward. And so that's just like, even think about like a master saying, bro, I've made my bed. I'm going to sleep in it.
Yes.
And Satan usually tells us like, bro, it's too late for you. You're beyond redemption. You are beyond redemption. And God's saying, yes, what you did is bad. I forgive you. And here's a reward. Don't beat yourself up about it. Here you go.
Right. So like in essence, you still entitled for blessings, even though you have erred, even though you have sinned. You know what I'm saying? And that's grace and mercy, like
at its finest.
At its finest, bro. That's both of them. Because, and you know what? Sometimes I try not to repeat stuff that we say over and over, but I do realize that some people may be listening for the very first time. And they never heard us say it.
The listener, right, the very first time.
So mercy would be when God spares you from something that you do deserve, right? So like in this case, David showed mercy to Amasa by not killing Amasa, right? Grace is now giving Amasa something that they don't deserve. Giving you something that you don't deserve versus sparing you from something that you do deserve, you know? Giving you something that you don't deserve in this scenario would be the position that David is giving Amasa. You don't deserve that. You was just a traitor, you know what I'm saying? But that is grace. David is offering grace. And so it's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. Which verse are we in?
Not sure. I haven't really been looking at the
I think we're in 15. We're in 15. Then the king returned and came to the Jordan, and Judah came to Gilgal to meet the king, to escort the king across the Jordan. And Shimei, and we remember Shimei, who was, cursing and hollering after David, throwing rocks and stones at him, and Joab wanted to kill him, and David said, hey.
You could see Joab and David really ain't on the same page right now, bro.
I would say yes, but I'd also say, like, to me, Joab is like David's enforcer.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but to be an enforcer,
it's like David's bodyguard. Right. You think about, like, again, if let's just say, like, okay, my job is to protect you at all costs. That is my job. You know what I'm saying? Someone messing with you, it is my job to protect you and defend you. Like, if you hire a bodyguard, I just say, like, a bodyguard would stop a little kid from coming up to you. It's up to you to say, hey, it's cool, let the kid come to me. But the bodyguard doing his job. I mean, so it's like, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like, he's doing his job.
Right, no. But he's doing his job, yes. But David is not obliging to anything.
No.
Well, he did oblige when Joab tell him, suck it up. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. But now, this is what I'm seeing, right? I say, don't kill my son, you kill my son. Hard pill to swallow. Okay, cool. Now I want to openly mourn for my son. What you saying? Suck it up, bro. We need our king. You know what I mean? All right, cool, right? So now I go to the enemy at some point in time. I don't know if this is all in chronological order, but I go to Amasa and say, hey, I got this position. It just opened. It's a new slot, and you fit the credentials, bro. Like you didn't even apply. You didn't even submit an application for this job, right?
Here you go.
There you go. So David give Amasa Joab's job, his position, right? To me, that's salt. There's a little bit of salt in there, right? Cool.
I was going to make a joke, but I can let it slide.
No, go on, go for it. Yeah, we can let it slide. All right, so there's a little bit of salt in there, right? But now, and I'm going to jump the gun just a little bit. Now, Joab, he's indignant because right now, he has a claim to get revenge on Shimei because Shimei threw rocks and dirt and hurled curses at David and all of his men as they walked past, right? And now he about to say, bro, this man deserved X, Y, Z. And David's like, no, again. See, the first time when Shimei was hurling insults, Joab was like, bro, we might as well kill this man because he cursing you, bro. And David was like, you know what, man, God might have bring him in.
Maybe I deserved it.
Yeah, maybe I deserve this. Now, there's a different scenario now because the tables are turned. And you realize God didn't feel the way that this man felt about you. And so now Joab is like, yo, what's up with that? And David's like, bro, what's wrong with you? Why do you even feel this way? And watch, I can read it. We can read some more and I can show you why I feel like David just being a contrarian against Joab, even though it is in line with him showing grace.
So the king, yada, 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 in 16, and Shimei, the son of Gera, the Benjamite, who was from Bahiram, hurried and came down and went with the man of Judah to meet King David. There were 1,000 men of Benjamin with him, and Ziba, the servant of the house of Saul, and his 15 sons and 20 servants went with him. Ziba is the next interesting one. We can get them soon too. And they went over the Jordan before the king. Then a ferry boat went across to carry over the king's household and do what he thought good. Now Shimei, son of Gera, fell down before the king when he had crossed the Jordan. And he said to the king, do not let my lord impute iniquity to me, or remember what wrong your servant did on that day on the day that my lord the king left Jerusalem, that the king should take it to heart. For I, your servant, know that I have sinned. Therefore I am the first to come today of all the house of Joseph to go down to meet the Lord my king. But Abishai, son of Zeruiah, answered him. It was Abishai.
It was Abishai. So my point don't even start right now, bro.
It was Abishai.
And that's Abishai
the brother.
Right, Abishai, who's Joab's brother, just for context. And they're both David's nephews. They might be older or might be around the same age, but David's nephews. Yeah.
Shall not Shimei be put to death for this, because he had cursed the Lord's anointed? But David said, what have I to do with you, sons of... But David says a lot to them, you know.
That's why I feel like this smoke for Joab, bro. Because he ain't just saying what I can do with you.
But remember, even from time...
From since they killed...
They get David in this.
From since they killed Abner.
They get David in a lot of stuff. Yeah. That you should be adversaries to me today. Shall any man be put to death in Israel? For I do not know today why I am king over Israel. Therefore the king said to Shimei, you shall not die. And the king swore to him. So there's a couple of things here I just want to address, right?
Yeah.
First, Shimei. Oh, how the tides have turned.
Yes.
The tide, because this man was cursing and whatever. But I like how he approached it. He didn't run from it. He didn't try to justify it. He didn't try to make excuses as to why he did it. He's saying, yeah, I was wrong. I sinned. And it's a couple of key things he said to show that he was actually serious and contrite about it. He's saying, bro, I am the first one here out of all the house of Joseph. That includes Ephraim, Manasseh, Benjamin. That includes all three of those tribes when you think about it. I am the first one from the house of Joseph here to greet you as we come across. You see, he bowed down in front of David, my Lord, my King. I am sorry. But it's like, not only did he just, because it's one thing just say it, but you can see by his actions, but I really meant it. Catch me at a bad place. You was down. Hey, I capitalized, but I was wrong. I was wrong and I sinned. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was wrong and I sinned. And to me, that's powerful, because I mean, a lot of people just say, yo, I'm sorry, my bad, bro. But like Shimei, who had every right to die too, and saying, yo, I understand if you do kill me. Please don't.
Yeah.
But I am deeply sorry for the sins I've committed against you and your whoever else, your whole court, whoever was with you, you know what I'm saying? And then even the last part of what David was saying after, he was like, bro, chill, my nephews, calm down, right? But he's saying like, bro, I don't even know why that I'm king of Israel today. Like, it's like a backhand way of acknowledging that, yo, I am still king, not by anything I have done, because I don't even deserve to be king.
That's true.
So how can I, who don't deserve to be king, punish anybody else right now? It's like, I can't be picking up the speck in your eye when I got a whole lamp pole, you know what I'm saying? In my eye right now. Like right now, David just on a humble move. Like he understand, like, yo, it's by the grace of God that I'm even getting this kingdom back.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I am not in a position to deny anyone else grace. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it is.
And it's interesting because, you know, sometimes, bro, we know God's been good to us. We know God's been blessing us. But when some adversaries come against you, you know, we be getting that little salt back. You know what I'm saying?
I need my lick back, bro.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like you read stories like this, and again, David ain't perfect. We done dripped him off his pedestal. But it's still like acts like this to show that even when he messed up, he still like acknowledges and goes back to his source and saying, yo, who am I? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because like you are the king, but who am I to not be able to extend grace to this man right now?
That's true.
And it's humbling reading this because again, like this is like the second time in a row, like David had every right to exert like authority and power, and he chose the humility route, the humble route, the forgiveness route.
But look at what Abishai say though. Abishai ain't say. See, Abishai is speaking in a language where it's like, now you have to let me kill this one, bro. Because you see,
He using the key phrases.
Yeah, he using the key phrase. He say, because he hurled curses at the Lord's anointed, right?
Exactly.
So we know for a fact in the past, David draw the line at the Lord's anointed, and he's serious about that. What's Amalekite, the Amalekite who allegedly killed Saul.
Yeah.
David had this man killed one shot, boom, because of the fact that his own mouth testified against him that he touched the Lord's anointed, right?
The Lord's anointed,
So now now Abishai is saying, hold on now, you the Lord's anointed, you the Lord's anointed. He cursed you and he throw rocks at you.
Trying to catch David on technicality.
On a technicality, you know what I mean? And so that's why I feel like David was just being like fixated against Joab and his brothers, like, because using David's own thought process, this was the Lord's anointed that he messed with, bro. So surely we could avenge
Mess
you
him
on
up,
this,
yep.
right? And David, he like, bro, what I can do with the sons of Zeruiah, bro, right? But nah, David showed his heart right there because he said, bro, is anyone gonna die today? No one's going to die, bro. Everybody gets a free pass today, bro, except Joab. He loses his job. But other than that, everybody getting grace and mercy today.
Yup. Okay, so now in verse 24. Now Mephibosheth. That name.
Oh, that's one more thing, though. That's one more thing.
Go for it.
Shimei, he come with 1,000 Benjamites, right? So we know the Benjamites don't love David because Saul was from the house of Benjamin, so we could just naturally assume that their allegiance was to Saul. Shimei being a part of them, they show me this all a part of the same group. But who else with them? Ziba. And so now, I can be real, I leaning more towards Ziba being a snake.
We established that.
I have been leaning towards that. That Ziba was, we did establish that. But I lean it, because like it's in this text, it's some ambiguity as to who was right and who was wrong. You know what I mean? But I lean in more towards Ziba being guilty, because you with a bunch of guilty people right now.
Exactly.
You with a bunch of people who do not mean David no good.
Exactly. So now in verse 24, now Mephibosheth, the son of Saul, came down to meet the king, and he did not care for his feet, nor trimmed his mustache, nor washed his clothes from the day the king departed until the day that he returned in peace. So it was when he came to Jerusalem to meet the king said to him, why did you not go with me, Mephibosheth? And he answered, my lord, O king, my servant deceived me. For your servant said, I will swaddle a donkey for myself, that I may ride on it and go to the king, because your servant is lame. And he has slandered your servant to the Lord my king, but my lord the king is like an angel of God. Therefore do what is good in your eyes. For all my father's house were but dead men before the Lord the king. Yet you set your servant among those who eat at your own table. Therefore, what right have I still to cry out any more to the king? That's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I don't know, bro. It's a little confusing. It's a little confusing because Ziba come and say, hey, Mephibosheth gone rogue. And this was during a time when everybody was just
ditching David.
Yes, everybody who had some type of malice or some type of jealousy or hatred towards David, they was letting it show. David's son was running around trying to become king. David was in hiding and on his way out.
His top wise men left him and went switched sides. Then you get a report that Mephibosheth switched sides on you.
Right. And Ziba was the one who gave David that report. And David turned around and said, all right, bro, thanks for... Oh, and Ziba came with gifts. He come and feed everybody, and then he say, oh, bro, let me tell you about Mephibosheth, bro. He going crazy, bro. Like, he's showing that he really didn't like you from the jump. And it was convincing. I was convinced. I was like, you know what? I knew that Mephibosheth really was salty because his grandfather... Yeah, I didn't rate him. And so now, Mephibosheth coming with a different story. Mephibosheth, based on the Bible, had not showered, he had ignored all forms of hygiene since David left. And this was him showing that he was worried about David. You understand what I'm saying? And so like his actions and like the way he keep himself, this speaking louder than any of his words. He's saying, bro, David saying, because David kind of have some disdain toward him because in David's mind,
you betrayed me.
You betrayed me. And he just sees Ziba twice. He sees Ziba on his way out of Israel and now on his way back, he already sees Ziba. And he had already spoken to Ziba. He already spoken to Ziba on his way back. You feel me? When he saw Shimei and all that. And so now, David is like, well, Mr. Mephibosheth, explain to me why after I've been so good to you, you didn't even come along with me. And Mephibosheth saying, bro, I didn't know. I got deceived. Now you know my legs, like I ain't as able-bodied as everybody else. You understand what I'm saying? I have to rely on Ziba. And Ziba telling me one thing, I believe him. Next thing you know, he running off away. You know what I mean? I couldn't do nothing. And so the only thing I could have done is show you that I stand in solidarity.
Yep.
Right, so I did that. And that was Mephibosheth.
You couldn't stand it.
Whew, figuratively.
I was reading this, I was like, why you doing? I was like, but David the man can't.
Like, what you mean? Right.
Cut him some slack.
But you can see David was kind of frustrated with him because
he was hurt.
Right, because I don't know if you is a traitor or not. Like, I don't know who to trust these days.
Quite literally. And then, and the next thing too, but like, what I like when Mephibosheth, he say, I don't care about the rest of the stuff. Like, again, if we said this, like, my goodness, many episodes ago, but we said in relation to God, but like Mephibosheth is saying, David, if you don't do anything else for me for the rest of my life, you've already done enough. You've already done more than enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, you done, everyone in the house of Saul was dead. And Mephibosheth was a direct descendant of Saul versus Shimei, who was just in the house of Benjamin. You know what I'm saying? It's like difference. This like Mephibosheth theoretically should have been the king right now if Jonathan had not lived. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so, like when the house of Saul was like dead, David remembered him, found him, put him to eat at his table, and say, yo, put people appointed to take care of all the rest of the lands, which was Zibados, take care of all the rest of the lands in the house of Saul and preserve them for Mephibosheth's family. And it's just interesting now. So Mephibosheth saying, yo, I don't care, but that my concern was that you came back as king and to rule over us, because I know how good of a king that you are. Personally, you know, I've personally experienced how good of a man that you are. And I was distraught when I heard all the things that was happening to you. In verse 29, so the king said to him, why do you speak any more of your matters? I have said you and Ziba defied the land. Mephibosheth said to the king, rather let him take it all, inasmuch as my lord the king has come back in peace to his own house. And again, for like, in case you guys missed it, when Ziba came to David, when he in his times of trouble and in exile, and he was distraught that he thought that Mephibosheth left him, he said, Ziba, you could take controls of all the lands that you was carrying over. And so now David's saying, okay, I'm not gonna take back my word from Ziba, but anyway, I'll just let you guys split it. Mephibosheth saying, again, I don't care about the land. You know what I'm saying? It brings more joy to my heart knowing that you're okay than the land. Ziba could have it all. He won this one. I don't care about it. He could have it. Joke's on him.
Hey, but to me, this make me feel like David don't know who to even believe during this model. You know, and this really a he say, she say right now. And so we don't even have witnesses. I mean, I'm sure they could get witnesses. Or
but
whatever.
Then to your point is like, we saw, where did we find Ziba? With the people who was against David.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where did we find Mephibosheth?
Right.
In a grieving state, in a mourning state. And it kind of goes back to like some points in this, I guess, whole episode that wasn't really a theme before time, was like, how are your actions speaking right now? We saw like, you know, Shimei's actions were sincere. David right now, his actions have proven like grace and mercy. Now we see Mephibosheth's actions was, you know, sincere. Ziba was just chilling with the enemy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you're king again. Yeah, I was on your side, remember? But we're like, even you were saying one thing, but what were you actively doing? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, so but I just don't. It just to me, I feel like I need more closure in this because I want David to pick a side, bro. Like everybody who come to David and say you like an angel of God, they get their way. Everybody who say that, you understand what I'm saying? When the woman from Tekoa say, but you like an angel of God, like you know what I mean? Like I feel like Abigail say something along that sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
People say, bro, this guy is a very wise guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But David was like, bro, why you even still talking to me with this, bro? I already tell you and Ziba, you all deal with that. You all half and half it. And so, like, to me, that make me feel like David don't know who is lying and who is honest. But based on my observation, I believe Ziba, like, to me, seems the most disingenuous. You know what I'm saying? And, but I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Bible only summarized what Ziba say. Him and David might have had a more thorough conversation, and it might make sense to David. I don't know, but David Rachel, he ain't punishing nobody.
Yeah,
he know one of y'all guilty, one of y'all telling the truth, and so I just give you all half. So all two of y'all getting punished, and all two of y'all getting rewarded at the same time.
But then too, again, it just kind of fast forward to the Solomon thing. The line don't even mean that to Mephibosheth too. Again, by actions.
That's what I was thinking.
It's like by actions again. Mephibosheth saying, bro, I don't care about the land.
Right.
So again, like I ain't trying to like hold on to these possessions because again, Mephibosheth, bro, if you don't do anything else for me anymore to this day, you've already done too much.
Mm-hmm.
You've already done more than enough. So Mephibosheth, again, his actions and what he's saying sincerely leads me to believe that he's telling the truth in this aspect.
I agree. I agree.
So in verse 31, David showing more kindness and grace. Mm-hmm. And then Barzillai, the Gileadite, came down from Roglim, man, these words, and went across the Jordan with the king to escort him across the Jordan. Now Barzillai was a very aged man, 80 years old. And he had provided the king with supplies while he stayed at Mahanaim, for he was a very rich man. And the king said to Barzillai, come across with me, and I will provide you for a while you are with me in Jerusalem. But Barzillai said to the king, how long have I to live? And that I should go up with the king to Jerusalem. I am today 80 years old. I cannot discern between good and bad. Can your servant taste what I eat or what I drink? Can I hear any longer than the voice of singing men and singing women? Why then should your servant be a further burden to the Lord my king? Your servant will go a little way across the Jordan with the king. And why should the king repay me with such a reward? Please let your servant turn back again, that I may die in my own city, near the grave of my father and my mother. But here is your servant Chinham. Let him cross over with my lord, the king, and do for him what seems good to you. And the king answered to Chinham, Chinham shall cross over with me, and I will do for him what seems good to you. Now whatever you request of me, I will do for you. Then all the people went over the Jordan, and the king had crossed over. The king kissed Barzillai and blessed him, and he returned to his own place. So what's your thoughts on that?
I don't really have much thoughts on it. I just feel like David is being very kind. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't be the same people who like just gave him food that time. Like, you know, like when they're in the desert, they, like some people just came and gave them food and everything, and like supported them. I wonder if that's the same guys. David just trying to repay the kindness. Like, hey, you guys were good to me when we were out here. We had no place to eat and stuff. You provided food. And we see the guy had the means. He was old and he was, the Bible says, very wealthy. What are you saying? Yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate you extending me this offer, but I ain't got much more to live for.
Give it to someone else who could benefit.
Yeah, hey, why should I be a burden to you? And why you can stress me out in my old age?
Yeah.
I chilling good over here. Let me just die. You know what I'm saying? Let me just die in peace, David. Some like reports say like Chinham might have been his son. So you just say, hey, here's my son. You could take my son over, and everything you want to bless me with, you could bless him with, and we could just do for that. Because even when David was dying, fast forward a couple chapters, like he always said like be good to the sons of Barzillai. So kind of lends belief that Chimham was his son. So in verse 40 now David went on to Gilgal, and Chimham went on with him. And all the people of Judah escorted the king, and also half of the people of Israel. That's very important. Half of the people of Israel.
But to confirm, Barzillai did bring beds and basins and earthen vessels and wheat and barley and flour. So David is going out his way to repay Barzillai's kindness. And this was in chapter 17 when David and those were going out to war. Like, this is before the battle. And so now after the battle, David is repaying. So yeah, it makes more sense now.
Okay, perfect. Appreciate that. And then so in verse 41, just then all the men of Israel came to the king and said to the king, why have our brethren, the men of Judah, stolen you away and brought the king, his household, and all of David's men with him across the Jordan? So all the men of Judah answered the men of Israel, because the king is a close relative of ours. Why then are you angry over this matter? Have we ever eaten at the king's expense? Or has he given us any gift? And now the men of Israel answered the men of Judah and said, we have 10 shares in the king. Therefore, we have more of a right to David than you. Why then do you despise us? We were not the first to advise. Were we not the first to advise bringing back our king? Yet the words of the men of Judah were fiercer than the words of the men of Israel. So we see in verses 40 to 43, there's a little bit of a dissent in the ranks in Israel. The men of Judah are jealous of the men. Well, the men of Israel are jealous of the men of Judah. And so I feel like, well, that's the end of this chapter. They'll personally feel like 40 and 43 should have been in chapter 20. But it's a story for another day. So overall thoughts on this chapter, man?
I mean, it seems like David was able to suck up his feelings very quickly and get back to politicking and being a king. You know what I'm saying? And the road to being a king, especially under these circumstances, you gotta visit a lot of people who did you wrong on your way down. You back on your way up, and you gotta pass them same people who was trying to step on you when you was going down. You know what I mean? And David handled it gracefully. You can see David, this like a job now. This ain't like you living your life as a king. Like everybody who ever like thought about like what's it like to be a king, like you like the experience, like you think about the experience of a king, obviously the duties and stuff like that. But right now, this ain't a pleasurable experience for David. This is just a job. Like I am tasked with leading this nation, you know what I'm saying? And that's what this is. So my personal feelings are all the way to the side. So if somebody curse me and throw stuff at me as a king, that's a no-no, bro. You don't even have to think about that, bro. No king is putting up with that. You know what I'm saying? You have it in your power at minimum to arrest this person, you know, but you giving them a pass? That's because, bro, damn, he like, bro, okay, yeah, he was mad. Okay, I did a lot of stuff to make people mad, bro. I can't punish someone for being mad at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand where you're coming from. And guess what? You repent, and I am going to forgive you in the same way I have been repenting to God. And it's the same David who write a bunch of psalms about grace and salvation and stuff like that. So this man understands how God works, bro. He understands the plan of redemption. He understands salvation. He understands sins. You know what I'm saying? He understands grace and mercy. And so the whole time, he is not allowing his own emotions to stop him from giving people grace and mercy. If y'all don't deserve it, even if y'all feel like y'all don't deserve it, even if I feel like y'all don't deserve it, you getting a pass. Only because I'm the king right now, and I know for a fuck I don't deserve. I don't even know why God is keeping me as king right now, but because God see it fit to show me this type of love, I am paying it forward.
I guess like just take a different angle. The next thing, which I guess we already harped on several times, is like, do your actions match your words? And just a blatant theme throughout this whole chapter was like people's actions matching their words. Oh, David, I'm sorry. How do you know for a fact that I'm sorry? Because of X, Y, and Z.
oh, David, I was actually sincerely sad that you were like, I'm only like, the only thing that's sustaining me right now is that you're a king. Why? Because of this and that and this. Oh, David, yeah, you can get off your lands back. I don't care about your lands. Yeah, like I'm showing you like by my actions that what I'm saying is true. And to me, it's just really powerful, man, because like when you start thinking about it, like there's a lot of times when we say things, but our actions don't back it up. We say we're a Christian. Do our actions back it up every second of the day? No. Personally speaking, I can't talk for you guys out there, you know what I'm saying? But like even David too, like David was like, okay, man, I'm grateful. I'm sorrowful for the things that I've done. I'm grateful for the opportunity that I'm still king. And how is he showing that? We see because every instance he had to actually like exercise the authority of king. What is he doing? Showing the grace and mercy. Hey, you deserve to die, bro. I'm gonna make you in charge of the army. You were cursing me out. I'm gonna spare your life. Don't worry about it. You're good with me. Like again, David's just going out of his way to show that, hey, guys, it's okay. Because of the grace God has extended me, I am in no position to deny you grace. And not just gonna say it, by my actions, I'm also showing it too. Like, so again, do your actions match your words? And I think that's important that we take with us throughout the rest of our lives. And something we just need to be reminded of, because it's easy just to say one thing, but it's often harder to put it into practice and put it into actions.
As David fled from Israel, hiding from his son Absalom, there were a lot of people that he came in contact with. Some that meant him good, and some that meant him harm. And now that Absalom is defeated, David is now visited by some of the same people, but David repays everyone with kindness. But no matter what he does, there are still some people that do not wish to have David as their king. But we'll talk more about that on the next episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. Tonight's episode included voice acting by your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz. Remember to go ahead and research on your own in order to get a more firm understanding of tonight's episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. You can follow us on social media at A Breath of Fresh Air Pod on Instagram and BOFAPOD on Twitter. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week.